Hello, this is Dex, here to talk about another aspect of what I call therapeutic spiritual processing. It's been a while since I made a video. I'm just going to stress one important point here, and it's just this. Sometimes in a counseling session, when you're running a particular technique or process, you ask your question, and your client responds with something that doesn't immediately reveal itself to be an answer to the question. In Scientology terms, because many of my clients come from a Scientology background. I have a Scientology background, although I am not in this day a Scientologist. I've developed and progressed and changed well beyond those ideas. Anyway, in Scientology, there are what's called training routines, or TRs for short. And this forwards the concept that you should stop the person if they don't seem to be answering the question right away and tell them you're going to repeat the question. I'll repeat the auditing command is the Scientology phrase. And it's terribly wrong. What they call TR3 is terribly wrong. I've found out over thousands of experiences in sessions that when you give a client a question, their spiritual compass is going to give the answer. It's not always going to be apparent right away. But if you allow the person to continue with their stream of consciousness and they're expressing their response, even if they don't immediately make the connection, as they continue expressing what their response is, what their spiritual compass is delivering in response to the question, the relevance to the question will always emerge. So part of the counselor's function is to be patient and understanding and know that if you let the client be and you stay with them, they will come around to explaining the answer. And this is the way they need to do it. The session is for the client. It's not for the counselor, or in Scientology terms, the auditor. And the auditor should not be anxious to get to the answer. The auditor should not be anxious to ask his next question. That's not what matters. What matters is the material that the client's spiritual compass delivers in response to a relevant question. What's a relevant question? Well, a relevant question is based on what your client, what the client, or what you express as being what you're trying to solve, or what you're interested in addressing, or your goal for yourself, how you'd like to be, what you'd like to accomplish for yourself. It comes from the client, okay? So a relevant question is one which addresses what the client has expressed interest in. And being given that question, you then, or the counselor then, just needs to sit back and be present with the client and allow them to fully express what's coming out of them, which will arrive at answering the question. Sometimes, in the best situations, the client will say, I don't even remember what the question was. Am I answering the question? And the fact is, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It means that the client has been able to deliver and connect with and fully engage in that which needed to come out of them. There shouldn't be an obsession with how am I doing on answering the question. There shouldn't be an obsession with looking at the client and demanding a more direct answer. The answer will come. The answer will always come. There is never a need to stop the client. There is never a need to say, I'm going to ask you the question again. That's a terrible thing to do. What you're indicating to the client is you're telling them they failed to answer your question. They didn't do their part. It's you not doing your part if you do that with a client. So for those with a Scientology background or perspective, reconsider the concept of TR3 and just try letting the client continue to express himself or herself, even if you don't immediately see how they're answering your question. Be patient. Stay with them. Show confidence in your client. Don't over-control. Let the client go where they need to go, and it will all work out beautifully. And if you're a client, it's very important that you speak up. It's very important that you never be concerned with behaving for the counselor or behaving for the auditor or being what Scientology calls being a good PC or a good pre-clear. Don't behave yourself. Just go where your mind is taking you and it will all work out. Trust in yourself. And if you've got a counselor or auditor in front of you who is telling you he's going to repeat the question, well, just let him know that you're getting to the answer. Like, slow down. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, speak up. You're not doing anything wrong. You're doing exactly what you need to do. You're operating correctly. Just continue. So from either perspective, counselor or client, once a question is asked, the answer will arrive, and the relevance in what is being expressed in response to the question will always arrive. Always. Stay with it. Just stay the course. It will be very valuable and productive to do so. Doing anything else is going to step on or short circuit what is a very, very workable effort in progress. And that's all I want to give you in this talk today. Again, this is Dex, describing an aspect of therapeutic spiritual counseling. And you know where to find me. Just look me up.